I wondered if you knew the difference between over delivery and over giving, and why the two are quite different, and just to watch when you're doing one over the other. So I love to over deliver. I absolutely love to like meet and exceed people's expectations, and I suppose I like probably some like people pleasing part of me that enjoys that. I know if you feel like you're a people pleaser, you probably are someone who kind of enjoys that over delivery, that I don't want to say over giving because I want to give the context first, but what's going on a lot of the time is that you are getting validation for yourself from an external thing. So in my mind, over delivery is exceeding expectations from a place of like overflow. So I'll give you the example of Liftoff. Liftoff was due to be a 2-part masterclass, right? I knew that it'd be probably an hour and a half. I need to watch where I'm going because it's wet. An hour and a half per session, and it was jam full, and there was always a chance that I wouldn't get through everything because I'd prepared so much content. But the price was set accordingly to it being a very valuable 2-part training. What ended up happening was I was getting into part 2, and I was like, there's no fucking way we're going to get this. There's no way we're going to get this done in a decent amount of time. And I can't remember how long the second one was, but basically we went way over time, and I still was like, there's still more I want to tell you, there's still more I want to share with you. So what I ended up doing was adding a bonus session. And how I knew that was over delivery versus over giving was I kind of tapped into what I was feeling. I was like, I could finish here and everybody will have had so much value, so many takeaways. Like, I know that will have like met everybody's expectations, but I've got more to say and I've got more to give. And so I'm actually going to add that bonus on. And what I'm going to also do is think about what that looks like going forward for people coming into it afterwards, because everyone can buy my programs afterwards. And so all of a sudden, like, the value in it had increased, and I could do something about that retrospectively. So we did module 3. There was another hour and a half on top. So the whole thing's like 6 hours long. And everybody in there was like, oh my God, we're getting a bonus session. And they loved it. But it came from this place of, I get to do this. I don't have to do it. I'm not going, oh God, like I didn't give them all the information and I feel responsible. And, you know, like it came from this place of abundance essentially. And like, yeah, this feels good. But then there's going to be like an adjustment in terms of the sort of product that's available afterwards, so that, and this is the important part, I don't get anywhere near the line of resentment. The line of resentment is probably one of the little markers that show you the difference between over delivering and over giving. When, in my eyes, when someone's over giving, they're often doing it from a place of, this wasn't enough. It's not enough. You know, I'm not enough. I need to give them more so that they can see the value of me, my thing, the stuff that I'm sharing. Like, how can I add on to it so they can see? And actually what you're doing is trying to convince yourself that you're enough and what you're doing is enough. Now, you might not end up at the line of resentment immediately, but it will be there. And what happens when someone is continually over giving rather than over delivering from a place of feeling that they should, they've got to make up for things, there's some kind of lack, deficit, whatever, is that eventually that comes back. And how it comes back is usually somewhere completely different. It comes back in burnout, It comes back in resentment for what you're doing. It comes back in not enjoying things. It comes back in like the next time you go to deliver something, you go to launch something, you go to speak about something, you're a bit like, oh God, I know what's on the back end of this. People that are in the productivity trap will get people pleasers, and people who measure their own value by output will be the ones that fall, oh, it's all wet here, will be the ones that fall foul to this, because they get their internal validation from external results, from what things look like, from output kind of thing. If you're a person that notices that you feel better when other people validate that position, this is a potential slippery place for you. And for business owners, what often happens is that they feel like everything's okay in the business. But I love my job and I love doing those things for my clients and it's amazing, it's this, it's that, it's the other. But somewhere else in the picture, the resentment will show itself. There's nowhere for it to hide. It's like it's going to squish out somewhere else. It's going to pop out somewhere else. And that is probably with your family, your loved ones, you know, like snapping and being like, oh my God, like, do I have to do everything around here? Blah, 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 blah. Because you've actually not got the capacity, because you've overgiven somewhere else. You've overgiven somewhere else. And so actually you're emptying out of your capacity elsewhere. And there's always a way to redress that balance. And that might be that you learn from it and you make sure that you don't repeat that, or you pour back into yourself somewhere else, or you actually just make an actual calculated adjustment. So for me, the calculated adjustment on the over delivery with Liftoff was, in the moment I over delivered and those people got an amazing additional bonus like call of another hour and a half, I think it was. But I actually changed the price of the program afterwards, because I was like, the potential for the overgiving and the resentment, the line of resentment to be crept upon, is if I continue to sell this program for that price, because there's so much value in there, it's ridiculous. So I changed the price. Balance, that's it. So there you go, that's what I would share. I need to go because it's wet and slippy. And I'll catch you in a bit. Lots of love.